Emily never thought the happiest day of her life would begin with a lie. The church was filled with smiling faces, soft music, and beautiful flowers. Everyone believed they were about to witness the perfect wedding. Emily stood in front of the mirror wearing a stunning white dress. She looked beautiful, but she wasn't smiling. Her best friend Sarah noticed immediately. "Emily, are you okay?" Emily forced a small smile. "I'm fine." But she wasn't. Deep inside, something felt terribly wrong. Just as the wedding ceremony was about to begin, Emily's phone vibrated. An unknown number. She almost ignored it. Then another message arrived. "Don't marry him until you read the letter under your chair." Emily's heart started beating faster. She looked around the bridal room. No one seemed to notice. Slowly, she bent down and looked beneath the chair. There was an old white envelope. No name, no stamp. Only 3 handwritten words. "For Emily." Her hands trembled. She carefully opened it. Inside was a single letter. The handwriting looked strangely familiar. She began reading. "Emily, if you're reading this, it means you're about to marry the wrong man." She froze. The room suddenly felt silent. The letter continued. "I know you hate me. I know you believe I abandoned you 3 years ago. But before you say I do, you deserve to know why I disappeared." Emily stopped breathing. There was only one person who could have written those words. Brian, the man she had loved more than anyone. The man who had disappeared without saying goodbye. 3 years earlier, Emily and Ryan had been inseparable. They met at a small bookstore on a rainy afternoon. Ryan accidentally knocked a book from the shelf. Emily picked it up before he could. Their eyes met. Ryan smiled. "I think destiny owes me a coffee now." Emily laughed. "That's the worst pickup line I've ever heard." Ryan shrugged. But it worked. She smiled. It did. 1 coffee became 2. 2 became countless evenings together. Soon they couldn't imagine life without each other. Ryan wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. But he always made Emily feel safe. Every Sunday they walked by the lake, talking about their future. Ryan promised, "One day I'll build a little house with a garden." Emily laughed. "And a dog?" Ryan smiled. 2 dogs. Emily held out her little finger. "Promise?" Ryan locked his finger with hers. "Promise." For 2 wonderful years, life felt perfect. Until one evening, Ryan received a phone call. He looked terrified. Emily asked, "What's wrong?" Ryan smiled nervously. "Nothing." But it wasn't nothing. That night he barely spoke. The next morning, he was gone. His apartment was empty. His phone was switched off. His social media accounts disappeared. Emily searched everywhere. She called hospitals. She called his friends. No one knew where he had gone. Weeks passed, then months. Finally, she stopped waiting. She convinced herself that Ryan had simply stopped loving her. It hurt. But believing that was easier than believing he had vanished without a reason. 1 year later, Emily met Daniel. Daniel was everything Ryan wasn't. Successful, confident, kind, patient, he never rushed her. He respected her broken heart. Slowly, Emily allowed herself to smile again. After 2 years together, Daniel proposed. She said yes, not because she had forgotten Ryan, but because she believed Ryan had already forgotten her. Now, standing in her wedding dress, holding Ryan's letter, Emily felt her world falling apart again. She continued reading. "Emily, I never stopped loving you." A tear rolled down her cheek. "Everything you believed about me was a lie." Emily covered her mouth. Outside the room, she could hear the wedding guests taking their seats. The ceremony would begin in minutes, but inside that letter, Ryan had just destroyed 3 years of carefully rebuilt memories. She turned the page. At the bottom, there was only one sentence. "If you still want the truth, yes, meet me at the old lake before you say I do." Emily stared at those words. The lake. The place where they had made their promise. Her hands were shaking. Outside the door, someone knocked gently. It was Daniel. "Emily? I'm here. Everyone's waiting." Emily looked at the letter one last time, then slowly closed her eyes. For the first time in 3 years, she didn't know who she could trust. Emily looked at the letter again. The wedding ceremony was only minutes away. She knew she had to make a decision. She quietly left the bridal room and walked toward the back door of the church. Sarah followed her. "Emily, where are you going?" Emily looked at her with tears in her eyes. "I need to find out the truth." Sarah noticed the letter in her hand. "Is this about Ryan?" Emily nodded. Sarah became silent. Outside, Emily got into her car and drove toward the old lake, the same lake where Ryan had once promised to marry her. When Emily arrived, the place looked exactly the same. The old wooden bench was still there. The trees moved gently in the wind, but Ryan was nowhere to be seen. Emily waited. 5 minutes passed, then 10. She began to think the letter was another cruel joke. Suddenly she heard footsteps behind her. Emily turned around. A man was standing several feet away. It wasn't Ryan. It was an older man wearing a dark coat. He slowly walked toward her. "Are you Emily?" Emily stepped back. "Yes. Who are you?" The man handed her another envelope. "Ryan asked me to give you this if you came here." Emily quickly opened it. Inside was a photograph. It showed Ryan standing beside a hospital bed. Emily stared at the picture. Her hands began to shake. "Where is he?" The man looked at her sadly. "He wanted to come himself." Emily's voice trembled. "Then why didn't he?" The man didn't answer. Instead he said, "Because 3 years ago, Ryan discovered something about your family." Emily froze. "My family?" The man nodded. "He found out that someone close to you was secretly trying to destroy your relationship." Emily couldn't believe it. "Who?" The man looked toward the lake. "Ryan never told me the name." Emily looked at the photograph again. Then she noticed something in the background. A man was standing near the hospital door. Emily recognized him immediately. Daniel. Her heart stopped. "No." She looked at the man in shock. "Why is my fiancé in this photograph?" The older man didn't answer. Emily suddenly heard her phone ringing. It was Daniel. She stared at his name on the screen. She didn't answer. The phone stopped. A few seconds later, another message appeared. "Where are you?" Emily's hands became cold. Then another message arrived. "You shouldn't have gone to the lake." Emily looked around in fear. Someone knew where she was. Someone was watching her. She quickly turned around. There was nobody there. Then the older man quietly said, "Emily, you need to leave." "Why?" He looked directly into her eyes. "Because the person who destroyed Ryan's life may still be watching you." Emily's eyes filled with tears. She looked at Daniel's message again. For the first time, she wondered if the man she was about to marry was actually the person she should fear. Then her phone rang again. This time, it wasn't Daniel. The caller ID showed an unknown number. Emily answered. There was silence. Then a familiar voice whispered, "Emily, it's Ryan." Emily stopped breathing, her eyes filled with tears. "Ryan?" The call suddenly disconnected. Emily stood frozen beside the lake. Ryan was alive. But if he was alive, why had he disappeared for 3 years? Emily stood beside the lake, still holding her phone. "Ryan?" She called the number back. No answer. She tried again. Nothing. Tears rolled down her face. After 3 years of waiting, she had finally heard his voice, but she still didn't know where he was. Suddenly, a car stopped behind her. Emily turned around. Daniel stepped out. "Emily, what are you doing here?" She looked at him carefully. "I could ask you the same thing." Daniel looked confused. "I came because you disappeared from the wedding." Emily held up the photograph. "Why are you in this picture?" Daniel's face changed. For a moment, he said nothing. Emily stepped closer. "Tell me the truth." Daniel looked away. "I didn't know Ryan was there." Emily shook her head. "Don't lie to me." Daniel sighed. "Okay, I knew him." Emily's heart sank. "How?" Daniel looked at her and quietly said, "Ryan was my best friend." Emily stared at him. "Then why did you let me believe you didn't know him?" Daniel remained silent. Emily's voice became emotional. "Did you know he was alive?" Daniel finally nodded. "Yes." Emily stepped back in shock. "You knew?" "I wanted to tell you." "Then why didn't you?" Daniel looked at her with tears in his eyes. "Because Ryan made me promise." Emily couldn't believe what she was hearing. "What promise?" Daniel took a deep breath. "He told me to protect you until he could come back." Emily's anger suddenly disappeared. "Then why did he leave me?" Daniel looked toward the lake. "Because 3 years ago someone threatened to hurt you if Ryan stayed with you." Emily's eyes widened. "Who?" Daniel looked at her. "I don't know." Emily stared at him. "You're lying." Daniel shook his head. "I swear I'm not." Then Emily's phone suddenly rang. It was Ryan again. This time, she answered immediately. "Ryan, where are you?" There was silence. Then Ryan whispered, "Emily, don't marry Daniel." Emily froze. Daniel heard his voice. Ryan continued, "There's something you don't know about him." The call ended. Emily slowly looked at Daniel. Daniel's face had gone pale. Emily whispered, "What does Ryan know about you?" Daniel said nothing. Then his phone began ringing. He looked at the screen. His expression suddenly changed. Emily saw the caller's name. "Ryan," Daniel answered. He listened silently. Then he said only one sentence. "You should have stayed away." Emily's heart stopped. She realized that Ryan and Daniel were hiding something much bigger than she had imagined. And now, she was standing between them. Emily stared at Daniel. Who was that? Daniel slowly put his phone away. Emily, you need to trust me. She shook her head. I trusted you, but you knew Ryan was alive and never told me. Emily stopped breathing, her eyes filled with tears. Ryan? The call suddenly disconnected. Emily stood frozen beside the lake. Ryan was alive. But if he was alive, why had he disappeared for 3 years? Emily stood beside the lake, still holding her phone. Ryan? She called the number back, no answer. She tried again, nothing. Tears rolled down her face. After 3 years of waiting, she had finally heard his voice, but she still didn't know where he was. Suddenly, a car stopped behind her. Emily turned around. Daniel stepped out. Emily, what are you doing here? She looked at him carefully. I could ask you the same thing. Daniel looked confused. I came because you disappeared from the wedding. Emily held up the photograph. Why are you in this picture? Daniel's face changed. For a moment, he said nothing. Emily stepped closer. Tell me the truth. Daniel looked away. I didn't know Ryan was there. Emily shook her head. Don't lie to me. Daniel sighed. Okay, I knew him. Emily's heart sank. How? Daniel looked at her and quietly said, Ryan was my best friend. Emily stared at him. Then why did you let me believe you didn't know him? Daniel remained silent. Emily's voice became emotional. Did you know he was alive? Daniel finally nodded. Yes. Emily stepped back in shock. You knew? I wanted to tell you. Then why didn't you? Daniel looked at her with tears in his eyes. Because Ryan made me promise. Emily couldn't believe what she was hearing. What promise? Daniel took a deep breath. He told me to protect you until he could come back. Emily's anger suddenly disappeared. Then why did he leave me? Daniel looked toward the lake. Because 3 years ago someone threatened to hurt you if Ryan stayed with you. Emily's eyes widened. Who? Daniel looked at her. I don't know. Emily stared at him. You're lying. Daniel shook his head. I swear I'm not. Then Emily's phone suddenly rang. It was Ryan again. This time she answered immediately. Ryan, where are you? There was silence. Then Ryan whispered, Emily, don't marry Daniel. Emily froze. Daniel heard his voice. Ryan continued, there's something you don't know about him. The call ended. Emily slowly looked at Daniel. Daniel's face had gone pale. Emily whispered, what does Ryan know about you? Daniel said nothing. Then his phone began ringing. He looked at the screen. His expression suddenly changed. Emily saw the caller's name. Ryan. Daniel answered. He listened silently. Then he said only one sentence. You should have stayed away. Emily's heart stopped. She realized that Ryan and Daniel were hiding something much bigger than she had imagined. And now, she was standing between them. Emily stared at Daniel. Who was that? Daniel slowly put his phone away. Emily, you need to trust me. She shook her head. I trusted you, but you knew Ryan was alive and never told me. Daniel looked down. I was trying to protect you. Protect me from what? Daniel didn't answer. Suddenly, Emily's phone received a message. It was from Ryan. Meet me at the old bookstore, come alone. Emily looked at Daniel. I need to go. Daniel grabbed her hand. Emily, please don't. She pulled her hand away. Why are you afraid of Ryan? Daniel looked at her with tears in his eyes. Because he knows what I did. Emily froze. What did you do? Before Daniel could answer, a car suddenly drove away from the street. Daniel looked toward it. Someone was watching us. Emily quickly got into her car. She drove to the old bookstore. The place was empty. Emily walked inside slowly. Everything looked exactly as it had 3 years ago. Then she heard a voice behind her. Emily! She turned around. Ryan was standing there. He looked older, tired and emotional. Emily couldn't move. After 3 years, she was finally standing face to face with the man she had never stopped loving. Tears filled her eyes. Why did you leave me? Ryan stepped closer. I wanted to come back every day. Then why didn't you? Ryan looked at her sadly. Because Daniel saved your life. Emily was confused. What? Ryan took an old photograph from his pocket. This is the truth about the night I disappeared. Emily looked at the photograph. Her face suddenly changed. The photograph showed Emily's father standing beside Daniel. Ryan whispered, your father asked Daniel to keep you away from me. Emily stared at the picture in disbelief. But why? Ryan looked directly into her eyes. Because your father knew something about me. He paused, and he was afraid you would discover the truth. Emily's voice trembled. What truth? Ryan slowly reached into his pocket and pulled out another letter. He handed it to her. This was written by your father. Emily opened the letter. The first line made her heart stop. Emily, Ryan is your brother. Emily dropped the letter. She looked at Ryan in complete shock. Emily looks at the letter in shock. Ryan is my brother? Ryan looks at her sadly and says, No, Emily, the letter is not telling the truth. Emily looks confused. Then why did my father write this? Ryan takes a deep breath. Because your father wanted you to believe I was your brother. Emily starts crying. Why would he do that? Ryan looks at her and says, Because he was hiding the real truth. Suddenly, the bookstore door opens. Daniel walks inside. Emily turns around in shock. Daniel looks at Ryan and says, You shouldn't have come back. Ryan replies, It's time she knew everything. Daniel looks at Emily and says, Your father was trying to protect you. Emily asks, Protect me from who? Daniel looks at Ryan. Ryan quietly says, From the people who wanted your family's money. Emily looks confused. Daniel continues, Your father knew they were planning to take everything from you. Emily starts crying. Then why did you both lie to me? Ryan steps closer. Because your father asked us to keep you safe. Emily looks at Ryan. And you disappeared because of me? Ryan nods. Yes, I left because I loved you. Emily reaches for his hand. Suddenly, Daniel's phone rings. He looks at the screen and becomes pale. They're here. Emily looks at Daniel. Who is coming? Daniel looks worried. The people your father was afraid of. Suddenly, someone knocks on the bookstore door. Ryan quickly locks the door. Emily holds his hand. I'm scared. Ryan looks into her eyes. Don't be. I'm here now. The lights suddenly go out. Everyone becomes silent. Then they hear a voice outside. Emily, we know you're inside. Emily looks at Ryan in fear. Ryan whispers, Stay behind me. The door slowly begins to open. Emily sees a man standing outside. She recognizes him immediately. It is her father's old business partner. He looks at Emily and says, Your father left you one final secret. Emily looks at her father's old business partner. He gives her a small box. Your father left this for you. Emily opens the box. Inside, she finds a USB drive and an old photograph. She looks at the photograph and starts crying. It shows her father, Ryan, and Daniel together. Daniel says, Your father trusted Ryan to protect you. Emily looks at Ryan. You never betrayed me? Ryan shakes his head. Never. I loved you the whole time. Emily starts crying and hugs him. Ryan holds her tightly. I'm sorry I left you. Emily whispers, Just don't leave me again. Ryan smiles through his tears. Never. 3 years of secrets finally ended. Emily finally understood why Ryan had disappeared. And this time she chose love.